Good evening again. I want to thank our praise band and all our worship leaders. They've done a fantastic job of bringing us to this Christmas Eve in the manger. Thank you very much. I want you to take a second and think about your most memorable Christmas. We all have them. Some might be a gift that we've had that really excited us. Some may be a journey that we've taken that's been incredible. Others may be a little bit more solemn and something that brings a tear to our eyes. But we all have that Christmas that is more memorable. And we're going to look back on the Christmas of 2004. That is our family's most memorable Christmas. And tonight, right now, I believe this is the 20-year anniversary of that Christmas. It's pretty incredible. Let me forewarn you, it's a chapter book story. Okay? So get comfortable. I wish we had popcorn. But we don't, so get comfortable. We're going to work through this pretty quickly. It started off in October of 2004. At that time, I was the youth minister at Calvary Baptist Church. I love youth ministry. That is probably still down deep. I would tell you I'm the student minister first because I love hanging out with students and sharing them about God's love. But that month, we had just finished our Disciple Now weekend. And for me as a youth minister, I enjoyed doing youth ministry, but that was my least favorite event. And we managed through it. It was a good weekend, but I was glad it was behind me. And I had a few weeks just to kind of sit and reflect and think about what I want to do for Christmas. And at that time, our oldest son, Brandon, was 9, and our youngest son, Andrew, was 5. And I thought, I really want to make this special. I want this to be something that they're going to remember the rest of their lives, something they're going to be telling their children about, and then their children are going to be telling their children. It's something that's going to live on in folklore and Varble family history. So I want it to be the most incredible Christmas ever. And all of a sudden, the light bulb hit. I knew what it was. I was going to get them a dog for Christmas. We were going to do a dog. It would be great. Now, my plan was to do this and not tell Tammy. I didn't want her to know because she would know that getting a dog would mean more responsibility for her. And she's like, no, we don't need to do this. So the next 2 weeks in October, I was calling humane societies, pet shelters. I was hitting the road, going all over the place outside of Lexington to all the surrounding counties because I wanted to get the most perfect dog. And I found it. Her name was Clara. And Clara lived in Mount Sterling, Kentucky. And now Mount Sterling is not just around the corner. It's like an hour and 15-minute drive from Lexington. So after making the phone call, and I went up there in November, I thought, you know what, I need to go meet Clara. I just need to go make sure that this is the right dog, that this is the dog that would love our boys. So I made the hour and 15-minute drive up there. And the second I got there, Clara ran to me and jumped up, and she was just such a loving dog. She was a Spitz mix dog. I'd never heard of one until that time, but she was so friendly. She was loving, and I thought, this is it. This is the Christmas they will never forget because I just hit a grand slam. They're going to love this, and they're going to remember this the rest of their life. So I said, can we come and get her on Christmas Eve? And they said, sure, you can come on Christmas Eve anytime, but you need to know that on Christmas Day, we're going on vacation. So if you don't make it on Christmas Eve, you're not going to get her till after the New Year. And I said, we will get her on Christmas Eve. Now, I actually had to call Tammy and fill her in because this is happening. And she couldn't tell me no at that point because everything was set in stone. I already planned out everything. So we were doing this. We were getting a dog for Christmas. So the rest of the month passed, and we had to go out to St. Louis the week before Christmas. That's where my mom and dad lived. And my dad's Parkinson was progressing, so we wanted to go have Christmas with Dad and my mom and my sister And then we wanted to help them come back to Kentucky so they have Christmas with us also. So we made sure that we went out there. If you were not probably living in the Midwest at that time in 2004, but a huge storm came up, a huge winter blizzard storm came up. And we were watching the weather all the way through, and we made it to St. Louis. But then the heavens just opened up in Indiana and Illinois. No snow in St. Louis, no snow in Lexington, Kentucky, but there's 2 states in between, 30 inches of snow. So we thought, how are we going to get back? Tammy was going to drive back a little early, then I was going to come back with my mom and dad because she had to get some things ready. So we called on December 22nd and to make sure the roads were clear and that we could travel. Interstate 64, closed. Interstate 70 to Indianapolis and to cut down to Louisville, closed. Oh, we didn't want to go all the way down to Memphis and come back up, but we couldn't worry about it anyway because that was closed also. So we were stranded. We were stranded in St. Louis. So the 23rd, same thing. We called, 64 closed, 70 closed, Memphis, not an option. We're thinking, what are we going to do? I have to get back, and I got to get this dog. You know, because this is the whole Christmas is pending on us getting Clara, and we have to go get her. So finally, at the end of the day on the 23rd, we called and we found out that Interstate 70 from St. Louis to Indianapolis was down to 1 lane. So we were able to make it that far, and then 65 from Indianapolis to Louisville was open 2 lanes a little bit, but closed at some spots also. So we knew there was going to be a long trip. So we got up at 5 a.m. on Christmas Eve, and we started the journey. And once we got into Illinois, I mean, it looked apocalyptic. I mean, it was just white snow all over the place, semis on the side of the road. And talk about 1 lane. We might have had half a lane. And we were doing our best to get home. And then we made it to Indianapolis, and we cut south to go to Louisville. As we're getting closer and closer to Louisville, part of 65 was closed. We couldn't go any further. But you could tell that some farmer had his John Deere, and he made a little path off that exit, across the exit, and I promise you, it was a gravel road with snow on both sides of us. And I thought, what in the world is going on, and where are we going? But eventually, we made it back to Frankfort, Kentucky, where the car was. What typically takes 5.5 hours took 12 hours. We were exhausted. But Tammy, being the good wife, the good mother, she's like, Kroger's still open. You know, I have an hour to go and do that, so I need to go get some stuff. And I thought, well, my mom and dad's here, and they can watch the boys, and we have Christmas Eve service, so I'm going to go on the Christmas Eve service. So I go on the Christmas Eve, and Tammy comes back home, and I get back from the Christmas Eve service about 8 o'clock, and guess what we have to do yet? We have to drive to Mount Sterling and get the dog. Hour and 15 minutes away. So we go, and we pick up Clara, and Clara just sits in Tammy's lap all the way. And she's petting Clara, and I'm like, this is such a sweet night. I know we're tired, but this is going to be worth it to see the boy's face when we bring this dog into the house. And we opened up the garage door when we got home, opened up the door, and their faces just lit up. Huge celebration. Boys running around just wildly. We got a dog. Wow, this is the best Christmas ever. And we sat there and we let them pet Clara for about an hour. It's kind of about midnight. And we have a few things that we have to do yet. And we said, boys, I know you're excited about the dog, but we need you to go to bed so we can get some things done. And tomorrow's going to be even a better day. And I'll never forget this. I will never forget it. Brandon looked at me and said, just 5 more minutes. Just 5 more minutes with the dog. I'm like, okay, 5 more minutes. So they had us 5 minutes. They give the dog a hug goodbye or good night, And they go up to the room, and it's about midnight, and we've been up since 5 a.m., but we still have some things to do. And we're sitting in our living room with the fireplace going, the Christmas tree up. We're wrapping a few gifts, and Clara is laying underneath the tree. And I think, if Norman Rockwell was to write a portrait or paint a portrait of Christmas, this is what it would be. It was the perfect Christmas evening. Everything had gone wonderfully. The boys were so excited about what is happening. And this is just, I nailed it. It was the best Christmas ever. It's going to go on for years and years and generations within our family. They're going to be so excited. So 2 a.m., we finished wrapping. We finished getting everything done. And Tammy says, well, before we go to bed, maybe you should hook Clara up to her leash and take her out so we can take care of business. And I thought that's probably a good idea because we don't want to wake up to any surprises. So we go out there, take her out, and she does her stuff. And we bring her back in the house. I get a little tug on her leash, and Claire's like, oh, I don't think I'll go back in. And I'm like, come on, Claire, you can do this. Come on, you can do it. So I get a little bit tug on her leash. And Claire's like, I'm out here. I don't want to go back in. And I'm tired. And I said, no, we're coming in now. And I gave it a big tug. And I pulled the collar off. And she's gone. She is gone out of the cul-de-sac and into the community. And I walk into the house, a little teary-eyed. And I look at Tammy and I said, the Christmas gift just ran away. Oh, no. So it's 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock. We were driving around Masterson Station. Clara! She doesn't know our voice. She's not going to come to us. Then I'm starting to get angry with God. Like, God, I know there's children in Lexington without beds, but this is our dog. This is our Christmas. What are you doing, God? I was getting angry. And eventually at 4 o'clock, after we'd been awake for 23 hours, I looked at Tammy and said, we got to call it. We're not going to find her tonight. So we went and laid down, tried to go to sleep. Then we tossed and we turned. We couldn't really sleep. And of course, at 6 a.m., the boys are up ready to do Christmas. And Brandon comes in to our bedroom. He gets in our bed and cuddles up with us and gives us a kiss on the cheek and said, Daddy, thanks for the dog. And I said, Brandon, we need to talk. And we talked, but I need to take a moment because that's just exhausting. There's a lot going on here. So tonight is a night of exchanging gifts. Tomorrow's a morning of exchanging gifts. And we put a lot of pressure on that. And we want it to be the best, the most perfect Christmas ever. And we put so much stress on what's going to happen tonight and tomorrow. And it's going to be fun, and you're going to have cherished memories, and it's going to be a great evening and a Christmas day. But I want you to hear these words. This is from Matthew 6. It says, do not store up your treasures here on earth where moth eat and where rust destroys them and where thieves break in and steal. Store your treasures up in heaven where moth and rust cannot destroy, and that they will not be broken in and stolen. Wherever your treasure is, wherever your treasure is, your heart will be there also. Remember, the gifts that you give today or tomorrow, they will get old. They will break. They'll be out of fashion. And they might even run away. Who knows what will happen to those gifts that we give. But tonight, the one special gift that we receive through Jesus Christ will last an eternity. It will never go away. It will always be there with us. And as we lit the Advent candle, the eternal gifts of hope and peace and love and joy. Those are the gifts that will be here, there each and every day for us. And just know that the God loves us and wants us to experience that all the time. Now go and enjoy a fantastic Christmas. And enjoy the gift, the giving of gifts. But let your heart and your mind reflect on a loving God who wants to spend eternity with you. Now I got some good news, okay? I do have some good news. First thing, we never found Clara. We like to say that some family had a very nice Christmas surprise, on their back porch. We never found her. And on Christmas Day, it was always the tradition to go to Tammy's family on Christmas Day, but we just did not feel like it. We've been up 24 hours, and it was a rough night. And her parents said, you know what, it's below zero up here, and the roads are still in bad shape. Why don't you just not come? And Tammy kind of told the whole story. And they told her that in a barn in nowhere, Indiana, there was a young puppy that was born, and that we could have that puppy. And we went and picked up Mitzi in January, and we had Mitzi for 18 plus years. And she brought such joy and love to our lives. And we like to say that at some point, Mitzi and Clara would meet each other at the park and they would be best buddies. That quite never happened. But she was there, Mitzi was there for us. Our boys were able to grow up with her, and it ended up being an incredible Christmas, just with a little bit of a twist there. Thank you for enduring that story with me. It was fun to share, and I've shared it for 20 years, and I will continue to share this because it was the most memorable story, Christmas, that I can remember. But we do need to go to the ultimate good news. And as you've heard through the scripture reading and through the songs, we have a God who loved us so much, the creator of the universe, the creator of the stars, loved us so much that he gave up the splendor and in the glory of heaven to be born in a manger, to humbly come into this world to love us, to teach us, and to set the example of what it means to be unconditional and sacrificial with our love. That is the ultimate good news of tonight, and that's the best gift that we could have, we could share with one another. So will you join me in prayer? God, thank you for this Christmas Eve and Christmas Day coming up. Thank you for celebrations and opportunities for us to come together with family and form and create precious memories. God, I ask that we will all be blessed by those experiences. But God, tonight, also help us to celebrate and reflect on your love for us. And help us to accept that so we can spend eternity with you. In your name, Jesus, amen.